A few days ago, Thich Nhat Hanh died. I don't think it's possible to overstate the importance of Thich Nhat Hanh in our understanding of Buddhism today. And by our, I mean all of us in the West. I don't know if there's been anyone else who has played such a powerful role in both popularizing Buddhist practice and shaping it, shaping our understanding of what it is. Much of what we understand about mindfulness can be traced back to how he talked about mindfulness. Much of how Western Sanghas practice together is in some way a reflection of what he taught. His presence is huge. I just wanted to talk about him a little bit tonight. Notice his absence, but also notice that presence. In Zen, we kind of claim him a little bit. He's often framed as a Zen master. What he's teaching is framed as Zen. But part of the power of what he did was that he taught much, much more. He taught an expression of Buddhism that was not just Zen, it was also Pure Land. It was a broad sense of the Mahayana, and then it was seamlessly linked to foundational teachings. So that in one breath he could talk about the Heart Sutra, and then he would transition into talking about the sutra on how to catch a snake, which we associate with the Theravada. And he used the same language in both. For him, it was all one thing. We should notice that. We should notice his fluency in that, his capacity, and how if he can do it, we can also do it, without drawing lines between this tradition and that tradition, this approach and that approach. He offered a big tent. But what I want to talk about, I guess, is how he's challenged me. I think there's a tendency, and I have also been guilty of this, of sometimes encountering his approach and kind of rolling our eyes a little bit. He offered something very, very soft. A lot of his practice looked like holding a flower. It was so gentle and it was so slow. And he used language that was so happy. That I found it easy anyway, and many people I know found it easy to set up a kind of resistance to it. It felt simple sometimes. It felt, for those of us drawn to this Zen practice, maybe too soft. There is something in this practice, in this Soto Zen practice, that is not only, for lack of a better word, very masculine. It's also, if we're not careful, kind of humorless. It's serious. I trained alongside people, some of them very experienced teachers who sat in Zazen with this face. Like they were in a battle with the world. It's not that they were wrong, that was what they were taught. And the people who taught them were taught that. And they were establishing themselves as pieces of iron in the world. Absolutely immovable. And there is something inspiring in that. For me, anyway. To see someone so rooted, so determined. And then along comes Thich Nhat Hanh. And what he taught, and I've been playing with this word all day, but I'm going to use it. In many ways, it was childlike. Not childish, but childlike. In a way that puts me off balance. And yet, it has informed everything I've done for 30 years. And I'll tell you how. The very first retreat I ever attended, the very first teacher I ever met, was a teacher in the line of Thich Nhat Hanh, one of his students. And so one of the first things I learned after I'd been sitting in this way for a while was this gata to practice during meditation. And it goes, breathing in, I calm my body. And so you're doing this while you're breathing in. You're thinking, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. And then next breath, dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. I practiced this continuously for months, and then for the rest of my life, I've gone in and out of it. Always kind of trying to figure it out. Breathing in, I calm my body. Okay. That just seems nice. That's something I want. Breathing out, I smile. That's hard. And Thich Nhat Hanh was very clear. You don't smile like this. You don't show teeth. He said, look at a picture of a Buddha statue. That's a smile. It's barely there. It's barely there, but you recognize it. In the same way that I used to work in radio, and they tell you when you speak into a microphone, you always smile because people can tell. They can hear it. It's that kind of smile. You know you're smiling. And so even if your mouth doesn't move, someone else can see. You breathe out, and you hold yourself in that way as a Buddha. I've told you, when I trained in monasteries in Japan, I was also told to be like a Buddha. But there the instruction was to be so solid. Thich Nhat Hanh, he added this little twist. Look closely at the face. Look at how that Buddha feels. And then this next part, dwelling in the present moment, fine. I know this is a wonderful moment. And this one used to just kill me. Even from the very beginning, I didn't want to be told how I was supposed to feel about now. I didn't want to manufacture an experience. I didn't want to say, this is good or bad. And there is something in the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh that is so optimistic. He is always pointing to the good. He is pointing to the light. And that is different from what I was taught, and it's different from the way that I talk to all of you. But I came to appreciate that when he says this is a wonderful moment, he's not saying this is a great moment. It's that childlike thing. He's saying this is a moment that is full of wonder. This moment is so big. So breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. Someone else I know who trained in Japan, someone who has been a mentor to me, a senior to me, trained there much longer, and trained much harder, came back to the West and started to train with Thich Nhat Hanh. And the story I heard from her, which has affected me, I think about a lot, is that after training with him and bringing this same determination, this kind of fierce resolve that we sometimes talk about to the practice, as she was leaving, Thich Nhat Hanh said to her, remember, it's okay to enjoy your practice. I heard this story from her maybe decades after it happened. But when I heard it, it was as if he was saying it to me. It's not that I don't enjoy this practice. It's that I don't enjoy it or not enjoy it. It's that I've had it drilled into me that there is no preference here. You don't choose to like it or not like it, to say it's good or bad, to embrace it or not embrace it. You just do it. You do it, do it, do it. That resonates with me. That's powerful to me. But in that mode, in that practice, I can forget, and I think others can forget as well. That there is joy in this. There is wonder. There is that feeling of looking at something for the first time. Not in a way that we have to overly spiritualize. We don't have to talk about it in terms of awakening. We don't have to talk about it in terms of some sort of perfect seeing. We can appreciate it just as, wow. Hey, look at this. Look at the sky today. Look at this rock. So in the last few days, I don't know, as I've been thinking about him, I've been finding that in the morning when I sit, I'm coming back to this. I'm coming back to this smile. I'm coming back to this idea of a wonderful moment. And even though I didn't really go that way in my training, I can't separate that from my life. I'm grateful to him for planting this other seed that's always been growing in the background. And that allows me every once in a while, when I'm not looking, to kind of lighten up. And that's where I'll stop today.